The button has been pushed. Hello and welcome back. As you may or may not have known, it's been 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't have cable news, but I bet our lack of podcasts has been on the chyron of CNN for the last couple of weeks.
I have had at least three people message me. Okay,
Really? That's impressive.
three super
Three.
fans.
Are they people we care what they think or no?
Of course we do. They are fucking super fans.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, I
if
well I
if
don't know if
you're
if
if
Tad sends me a message, I don't care.
yeah, well, I care, Tad. I care. Other than when you fucking leave to go watch your girlfriend's cat on a
Yeah,
Saturday instead of come to the show with us.
that's true. Yep.
Um, but no. They're like, oh, I haven't seen a new episode in a couple weeks. And I was like, yeah. So here's the thing. Thanksgiving happened. That was kind of planned, right? We both had
Yeah.
shit going on. I had family coming into town. Um, that family brought us a present.
yes, they did.
That that family definitely brought us a present. My sister-in-law came with COVID. So I was supposed to cook for 5 families for Thanksgiving, and on Wednesday, like, it was just not gonna happen. So I messaged my buddy. I was like, "Hey, man, not happening." And he's like, "What am I gonna do?" I was like, "You'll figure it out." Good luck. Everybody is puking. So I cooked at a Thanksgiving at home that like nobody ate because we were all dying.
Yeah.
It was the
Was it
gift
just
that
your brother's family and you?
yeah. So my brother,
Yeah.
his wife, he has 2 kids, and then my brother or myself and my wife and our 2 kids. So his wife got sick, and then my oldest daughter got sick. She was puking on Wednesday. That's when I was like, "Fuck, this is not fucking happening. I can't bring a sick kid." So then they got sick. Nicole got sick on the weekend. None of us thought that it was COVID until Sunday night. Nicole's like, I feel like absolute dog shit. Go get me a test. And boom. And then it was just like, boom, boom. All of us were sick. It lasted like a week. And then my youngest daughter got sick. And then she started puking. And it was like 2 weeks of pure terror. I
Yeah,
never.
it sounded for you. I would get periodic texts from Cody's because I was like, "Hey man, how's the whole family?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just a whirlwind of headaches and vomit, man. There's nothing else going on over here."
Bro, and my wife, so she was a teenager in New York and she got puked on by some girl that drank too much Bacardio. So she has, I don't know what the word is for the phobia of vomit, but she is not a fan. Not a fan. Like, she will absolutely deal with it like every mother will, but if there's a chance to be like, hey, go fucking do it, here I come. And so, like, dude, Logan was literally like poltergeist fucking vomiting in our bed one of the nights.
I'm sorry. I
Like,
feel sorry for your daughter, but that mental image because she's so cute is pretty.
dude, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it was like so fucking evil, and like it's just like that acidic smell, like burns through everything. Like, just fucking awful.
This is what. See now, this is what you people have been missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, oh,
Yep.
for sure. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, just disheveled, looking even more wolkish. Like my daughter's like, you look really tired. I was like, yeah,
You think?
I am. Because Nicole, like, once they get sick, she's like, okay, you go sleep with the kids. I'm going to sleep in the guest bedroom or whatever it is. When my family is here, Nicole's like, no, fuck this. I'm going to go sleep on the couch. She would rather sleep away from all the vomit and all the nonsense. So, like, yeah, it was fucked up. I wasn't able to go to any shows. So, like, you went to that Mountain Grass Unit show with
Yeah.
Leftover, right?
Yeah,
How was that?
leftover. Yeah, it was fire, man. I had I made the classic mistake 'cause I had tickets for both nights, and I made the classic mistake of going way too hard on the first night, and then the second night it just wasn't in me. So
You went too hard?
yeah, I know that's it's
Was there somebody there telling you to drink water? Because
yeah,
hopefully,
Alex was there.
hopefully I
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
on your
yeah,
shoulder
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
hey,
Hey,
baby, drink some
yeah, no, it was,
water,
and it
you
was
big
it,
fucking idiot.
it was more that like I was not expecting those guys because they played till like 1 a.m. or something, and
Dude, they played a late ass show.
yeah, they did. It was super fun, but like we showed up early, as you do, and it turned out that like the first 50 people that got there could go wait inside the Boulder Lounge next to the theater, and then they would let you in through the inner door. before the people outside got to go in. So we got kind of early entry. It was early entry by like 5 minutes, but but you had to get in there at 5:30, and then you hung out in there until 7.
Then you had to spend $75 in the bar.
No, yeah, actually, originally the email that went out. This was so funny because I think it was put on by Upslope. Was you had to order an Upslope beer to get early entry, but then like the guys at the doors are like, yeah, some people don't drink beer. We're just not doing that. Like if first 50 people come on in, you're good. It's like yeah, but
what about
yeah,
the seltzer? Do you have a
Mountain Grass unit.
seltzer?
Yes,
Mountain Grass unit fucks.
They fucked so hard. They crushed it. Honestly, my favorite part of the night was I don't know, probably the last half of the second set. They brought out Luke from Mountain Grass unit to play instead of Vince playing, and so Vince put on that like metal washboard vest he's got, and he's just dancing around the whole last of the show using that washboard vest while Luke was up there crushing it, and Vince was clearly having a good time not having to fuck with the guitar. You know what I mean? Like he's just vibing. He's like, yeah, just not even singing, just dancing around while they did their thing. It was awesome.
I fucking love Vince and the Salmon Heads. Like, dude, at Telluride, he was clearly all spun out, and he gave a and like, dude, the crowd just like all repeated it, and it was just a magical moment. And it's like only Vince Herman can concoct that kind of energy. I love Leftover. How was it with Sam Bush? Because that dude fucking dope. Rips too.
Yeah, that was dope. They had
so
some
Vince was
really
like, son, sit down, Silas, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Sammy's
here you
gonna
come out
Sam's
here.
getting on here.
Yeah, it was awesome, and again, it was it was funny because like we're getting to that point where like not everyone, I'm being hyperbolic, but like a lot of people I talked to at that show were like, yeah, I'm here to see Mountain Grass Unit. Like I like Leftover, but the fact that Mountain Grass Unit's opening is why I was here, and I was like, oh god, it's already starting. Those kids are. I think after a lot of those people there were like, that was the first time I saw them was at Renewal, and that was incredible. I was like, yeah, buckle up, buddy.
Yeah, get used to it. Well, and that's what's so dope. And like, it's kind of cool. It's sad for us because it just shows us that we're old. Yep. But like, Leftover was the scene, right? And now what's crazy is because Leftover also, since the hiatus of 2 weeks, they announced a Red Rocks run with the Dwellers.
Yeah, and isn't that like? Let's be clear. It's on Memorial. I gotta get tickets for that. It's on Memorial Day.
Yeah.
And like. But they're each band's doing like 2 sets, and the show starts at 4:30 or some shit.
So from what I saw, Torrin even commented that it was true. I don't know if it was John Eisenberg from Black Spy Marketing or BJ Cochran from Conscious Alliance, but one of them said that it's going to alternate one set. So Dwellers Salmon.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. And then Torrin got on there and said, he pointed up and said, "That's right."
That's awesome. That's cool.
So that's pretty sick.
Yeah, well, because it wouldn't make sense to like do your normal like full set of the first band, full set of the second band, then a full set of the, you know what I mean? To do like alternating sounds like a lot of fun. That's one of our buddies,
and at the end of it, it's just going to be a fucking. Hoorah.
Oh yeah, that'll be a fun one. Yeah, I know. I had a couple of buddies try to get me in on the VIP tickets for it, but they're like,
dude, VIP at Red Rock sucks.
I've never done it. I've heard that. He was all excited about the getting to take pictures with the band. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure everyone that hangs out in Denver will eventually get a picture with Torrin because he is now like the Wook Bigfoot. Like people like, oh yeah, would you see Torrin at that show? Yeah, I saw him. I'm pretty sure it was him. You know,
he's fucking everywhere all the time.
Yeah, he's everywhere all the time. So,
dude, they did that show on Sunday after those 2 shows, and then fucking Andy Frasco showed up and started
that was
hysterical.
With them. He just walked out talking shit and sat down at the keyboard, and they ripped it. It was fun. I didn't realize when I went to that party that I guess there's a dude named Nate who's like a chiropractor or something that does a lot of, at least this is what I gleaned from the crowd, does a lot of work on like local artists, so he just knows everybody. And he's moving to some other state to help take care of his mom. So this was like a going away party. So you walk in there, and the whole place is just covered with really embarrassing pictures of some dude I've never met. And then like they put these cupcakes out in the center of the room because it was a going away party, and but they didn't have a sign or make an announcement, so we were at that very back section of the other side up on the little raised platform area. And we're watching this, and it was one of those social experiments where everybody would stop by and look at the cupcakes, but they keep going because they weren't sure if they were supposed to take them or not.
We're like,
And
what's
finally,
in the
this one drunk
cupcake?
guy walks by and goes, "Hell yeah!" Just takes like 4 of them, and then people started grabbing them. But like somebody had to pop that cherry. It was fun.
All it takes is one, though.
Yeah, just one. They weren't that good as far as cupcakes go, though. But
I mean,
yeah,
a cupcake in the middle of a music venue wasn't that good.
yeah.
I wonder.
It was a little dry.
Were the hot dogs at the strip club delicious though? But
Those
yes.
were top shelf hot dogs.
I'm sure they were. But yeah, it's dope because like some of these older bands are now like pulling in some of these young bucks. I know that they just had the Mexico incident with String Cheese Incident playing down in Mexico for 3 nights. And then they had Daniel Donato, and I don't know who the other band was the other night. But then they announced their Red Rock shows. What's super fucked up is Cheese used to do 4 nights. They would do 3 nights at Red Rocks, 1 night at Dillon. Dillon, the city of Dillon, was like, these fucking wooks are not allowed. Last year was the first year that the Cheese didn't have a Dillon show. But they let people like Sound Tribe and...
I did not know that. That's wild.
So now they're only doing 2 shows at Red Rocks, which is fucking nuts to me.
What is it, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah. And so one of the nights is with Daniel Donato. And so it's kind of cool. It's like a changing of the guards as like these fucking older bands start carrying in some of these younger bands, and we start to see that transition. But it's fucking dope because, I mean, obviously, like, Daniel Donato and Cheese aren't the exact same, right?
No.
But the crowds all fucking love it.
Yeah, a lot. Well, I mean, and like you and I have talked about this. Like I like Daniel Donato, but you know, I'm not super familiar with all of his shit. I just see him so much because he is always opening for these other bands I know really well.
Dude,
and yeah,
I got obsessed being a Deadhead.
Yeah.
He did some sick cover a few years ago, and I was like, because I love the tone of his guitar.
Yeah,
like
their whole sound is really unique, and I know, and I learned this when I saw them when we saw them last time. Apparently, there's like this whole thing where a lot of people don't like his voice. Like, I've like heard this over and over again, but I don't see that. I've never heard anybody complain about it, but I mean, there's always somebody that's gonna bitch.
Oh, dude, you also have to understand like these people are getting cosmic, right? So like, Aaron or Sugarleg looks like a fucking middle-aged lesbian from the 70s, and then Daniel looks like a 12-year-old boy in like a Mickey Mouse shirt, right? And then he sounds the way he does, and people are like, oh, I don't really know if I like that. Be like, no, these fucking boys kill it. They just played, so he was down in Mexico, and then they came back up to Nashville and did the Christmas Jam, did 2 shows at the Brooklyn Bowl, and fucking dude, so they played a whipping post yesterday that was just fucking out of this world. And then let me see, they did a reggae version of what the fuck was it? But I was like, what? Did not even expect that to fucking come and happen. And, Walking in Memphis, bro. They did a reggae version of fucking Walking in Memphis. Like, how cool was that?
I could see it. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, they always. I've heard them do some different covers of various things, and it's always a good spin on it.
Yeah, so they're dope. I also saw Pat Cole is close with the band, and he has been working diligently with, I think, Dylan or somebody else in the scene, and they're actually building a database for Daniel called Daniel Base that they just announced. So that's super exciting. We're trying to work on getting somebody to come chat on that. But it's kind of funny talking about Daniel Bass and some of the drama because we haven't talked about Billy Strings yet and like Fall Tour. So first, we have to start with Memphis because did you hear about the dude at the end of the second night?
No. This is, you get to play story time because like I considered like I could look this all up, but then let's pretend that I am the everyman.
It's not a pretend. You don't know shit. You never look anything up.
That is true.
And then we fucking come here and you stare into your computer and you're like, oh yeah, that's really fucking interesting, Cody. I'm like, God damn it, Shay, do you ever pay attention? Well, anyways, if you wanted to know.
I do. The audience and I can learn together.
End of second night in Memphis, some dude, there's actually 2 of them, a guy and his buddy, got too messed up. Nobody knows what happened. Got naked. Started throwing punches.
Bro. That's like, I've seen that kind of messed up before. Like that's something else.
Wait, so listen. So that was it, and that was the lore. So then I'm like, okay, well, I gotta fucking find out what's going on here, right? So like, I reached out to some of the people that are on the floor. Jeremiah, you know
Yep.
Jeremiah. He's a couple feet away. He tells me, man, he's just I've never seen anybody so fucked up. Didn't know what was going on. He just looked lost. Then I talked to some other folks behind the gate because I was asking, I was like, all right, so is it Billy's team's responsibility or is it the venue's security responsibility for like things like that?
I would assume security, because they're the ones on the ground,
For sure.
right?
And
That would
so
be the assumption.
so what I heard was, well, they're there to protect Team Billy, right?
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
and the
Yeah,
fans. So like the dude I was chatting with was like, this dude started charging. And he's like, well, fuck. And like this guy's like former military, like badass, right? And he's like, I didn't want to have to do anything. Like, obviously, we know the scene that we're dealing with, whatever. We're trying to just like hope people deal with it. And he starts charging at me fucking naked. And he's like, oh, well, here it comes. And he goes, the last minute, they all just swarmed on him. 10 people. It took 10 people to fucking pull this dude down. He was deep in a K-hole with superhuman strength.
Is this like, so that was this during the show?
This
Like
so
music
it
was
started.
playing.
It started during the show.
I can't. Oh man, that's he needs to. Like the whole band's just sitting up there like, huh? All right.
Dude, from my understanding, it was the second to last show or last song. It was the end of the set, but not the encore.
Yes.
And then they encored with Gild the Lily. But like fucking 10 people, dude's just like superhuman strength, like fucking launching security people butt naked. Like just
I mean,
fucking...
like it would ruin the show in a lot of ways, but that would be fun to see.
Dude, no, it wouldn't. Have you ever seen somebody so fucked up that they like got fucking naked and just like let it all out?
Yeah, actually, I have. I've got some stories we could discuss offline, but yes, I have.
No, I plead the fifth. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw other people to remain unnamed, but they'll know because they know these stories. Because like I've had a few buddies that like have gone a little too fucking hard and like lost their shit. One of my buddies, his name was Joseph, and we were in Minnesota. We were down at Harmony Park. And this dude like sewed clothes and was a super cool dude and like super creative and like always made like these costumes and weird stuff. And so like he had a wizard costume, right? And we used to make a joke like, don't lose your marbles, right? Like you're at these shows, don't lose your marbles. So we thought it would be funny to like walk around and have a wizard and we would go and hand out marbles to people.
Oh,
and then give it to them and be like, don't lose your marbles, right? And then
that's
like
pretty funny. I like that.
just give them a marble and then just like because then people are like, wait, what the fuck? And then like this one kid is literally like dressed as a wizard, face covered with like mesh, so you can't see, like it's just a hood and a cloak. Well, that dude lost his marbles. He got too spooked out from the mask being right on his face. So then he just had to get like everything out. Walked away from the show. The camping and the venue. Harmony Park is beautiful in Minnesota if you haven't been there. Wookiefoot does a bunch of shit there, but there used to be good bands that played there before. Sorry, Wookiefoot. No, I'm not. But it's fucking beautiful. It's like this oak forest, and then there's this beautiful stage. And so like you literally walk through the campsite to get there. And I was like, where's Joseph? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, where's our... So it's like, I don't know, man. I haven't seen him. And so I start walking back. Our campsite is like way tucked into the woods, of course, because we're idiots. And I walk back and fucking there he is in the middle of the fucking trail, butt ass naked. Just butt naked. And he's like, I had to take it all off. It was suffocating me. And I was like, okay, buddy. And I fucking took somebody's tapestry and I like wrapped it around him. And like we went and had that good old hoorah talk and like talked him back down. But like, I will never fucking forget that.
Man, I kind of can't let that go. All right, all right. I got a story. So, and I can't not tell this now that I'm just sitting here thinking about it. So I had a friend of mine who he's since passed away. Alex, rest in peace. You were the man. But when we were in college, um, uh, I had like gotten off work or something. And it's like 10 or 11 a.m. and I'm at home, I'm getting out of the shower. And then I just hear a knock at the door, and I hear him ask if he can come in, and I'm like, okay, great, yeah, you can come in. We're done. He's younger than me, so like I think I had just finished school, and he was like still like deep into like I'm in college, I should party as hard as I can. And I watched it, and I walk outside, and I took one look at him. I had a towel around my waist from the shower, and I look at him and I go, "Hey pupils, how are you doing today?" And he goes, "Yeah, I took too many shrooms. I need a place to cool down." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." But then, he comes in, he's hanging out, and then he goes out into the garage. You have to walk through this garage to get to my apartment I'm living in at the time. And somewhere between going out to his car to get cigarettes and coming back in, he huffed paint.
Oh,
Yeah, and then so he comes back into the house, sees me in my towel still, and goes, "That's a good idea." Strips down butt naked, and fast forward 20 minutes, I'm trying to wrangle him out of the intersection near the house because he is naked and stopping cars, crawling on top of the cars and jumping on them like trampolines before like tumble rolling off the back to go to the next one. And then the last
oh
thing
my God.
somewhere on the internet I still have there's a picture of him naked dancing in the intersection, and maybe I don't know 30 minutes after that the cops showed up, and they're like, "Do you know him?" And they're like, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And I told them what had happened. They're like, "All right, we'll try to see what we can do." And then they just tackled him straight to the ground, and our entire friends group watched it happen, and to this day it is legendary. So I mean, it could be fun, but generally speaking, it's not great.
Dude, it happens. It happens to the best of us. And I feel like if you don't have a lot of experience, or if you go too hard, like one of my
Yeah.
favorite groups on Facebook is shoulda took half.
I've never seen that one. That's awesome.
Dude, it is a great group of fucking degenerates, right? And so it's great because it's like, whoa, too fast, too hard, right? And since it's Christmas, it makes sense that I'll tell this story from my high school days when I was a degenerate, right? And mom, I'm sorry, you already knew that. So it was the one of the first few times I had ever taken psilocybin, and I was in high school, and I was at my buddy's house. We called him Grape, and his house was called the Vineyard, and we all
Fucking
hung,
love that.
dude, we all hung out at the Vine.
Yeah.
And like it was just like a bunch of boys. Like we used to gamble on Madden games and play Risk for money, and like had a 6 foot glow in the dark bong. Like just dumb 16-year-old boy shit.
Yeah.
And so one Friday night we all like were like, oh, somebody's brother like had mushrooms in college and like brought them back. And so like we all were like, oh, let's all do this together. And we watch Harry Potter. I've never seen Harry Potter, no clue what's going on in this other realm. And I still remember it like clear as day because it was the scene where they're at like the chessboard,
Mm-hmm.
and like the chess pieces are moving, and Ron Weasley gets on like the knight to like ride the knight. And I'm like, just get off the fucking chess piece. Like you don't have to ride the chess piece to like to make the move. You don't have to like give yourself up. And in that moment, my mom calls. She's like, get fucking home right now. And I was like, and she's like, get home now. And I was like, what? Okay. And I was like 45 minutes from home. I'm driving my Isuzu Trooper. My mom lives in the sticks, like in the woods. And I go under the railroad tracks. And then it was like partially snowing because it was Christmas time. In my Trooper with my high beams on, the snow looks like I'm on fucking hyperdrive
Yep.
in like Star Wars or something. And I'm just like, I need to pull over. Like, yep, I need to like pull over and like find my base. So I like stand outside in the woods for like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm gonna go home. And I walk into my mom's house, and like my stepdad used to own an antique store. So like our house was full of like relics and stupid shit and like things everywhere. And they had this old like 1960s living room with like the Bond bars that would like open up and pop up and stuff.
Yeah.
So everything was like old school 60s style. My mom decorated like a tinsel Christmas tree. And then on that Christmas tree was like one of those old projectors where the wheel would spin and then the color would change. So then the whole room would change colors every 3 seconds as this wheel spun. I open the door and I'm losing it already because of the fucking hyperdrive. And the room just starts changing colors and I just start hysterically laughing in the doorway. Like, can't keep my shit together. I hear my mom's footsteps come downstairs. She looks at me and she's like, Cody, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, I have a seatbelt violation that you didn't pay and they're going to suspend your license. And then she's like, look at me. Holy shit. The size of your pupils. Did you take a bunch of LSD? And I was like, no, Mom, only organic for me. Like, fucking dumb, stupid, hippie teenager.
Yeah.
And she's like, get fucking downstairs right now before your grandfather sees you. Because our family was in town for Christmas. Like, fucking disaster. And so I'm going downstairs, and I swear to God she did this on purpose. I'm sitting in the couch watching ESPN News, waiting for her to come down and, like, kill me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she never came.
That was the punishment.
Dude, so I'm just sitting on this couch for hours, like waiting. Eventually I fall asleep, wake up. There's 2 Excedrin and a glass of water. My mom literally did not talk to me about it for years.
That's
for
funny.
years. Just like let it ride. And I had never seen that movie until like a couple weeks ago. My oldest daughter wanted to start watching Harry Potter. And so I was like, oh, wow.
Here we go.
I remember this.
Oh God, those early ones are hard to watch. They're so boring. God.
Oh, dude.
At least the first one is. I can't stand. It's.
But yeah, so like everybody goes hard, right? And like sometimes bad things can happen, and like it's funny because once like God, I would hate to feel like that in a venue.
Yeah.
Especially
So, I mean, what
now,
ended up
the
happening to that guy? I assume he just got tossed.
Dude, so 10 people strapped him to a fucking gurney and rolled him out.
That's wild.
And so, like, I don't know. I'm sure that there's training and people understand, like, with certain genres of music, there's certain fan favorites or performance enhancers or whatever it is that this group, like, goes and chases after or can partake in. And, like, I just fucking feel that would be, like, the worst thing to do to someone who's, like, so out of their mind is to just, like, restrain them.
I mean, I guess at that point the concern is that like, because all it takes is like, you could fall and crack your head open on a venue floor. I guess
For sure.
like it's probably a matter of keeping them from hurting themselves more than anything else. But I can't imagine it's pleasant for anyone involved.
Well, and it's funny that you say that now because with a few venues that I've talked to, we have talked about like liability and like insurance and like what they do. And so like when it happens, like, are they prepared? Do they have the staff for it? What also happens is that's why they don't allow re-entry is because when somebody's so fucked up and leave, then that is no longer their liability.
That makes sense.
Unless they come back into the property. So like say somebody leaves, does drugs and then comes back in, then they fucking pass out. Now it's on them. But if they had to do it inside and get fucked up inside without that, then they wouldn't have to do it. So it definitely makes sense, but you got to think about like what's the fucking training for these people? Like what's the response time? And like not only for like the dude that had to go through it, but then his friend, right? Because like, hey, we're fucking partying together, we're having a good time. Whoa, there goes Steve fucking flopping dong, throwing punches. Like this dude was swinging at people, like trying to fucking like take people out. And you're at a hippie bluegrass show, right?
That's Dude, I don't. Yeah, that would be such a mind fuck to just get like blindside clock. Like I've been to quite a few heavy metal shows and like and death metal shows in my day when I was younger, and like sometimes you actually get kicked or punched at a show like that, but that's kind of part of the game. You should know where to stand to avoid that. But at a show like that, I'm not sure how I'd react to just now that like having your dumb buddy in college do something stupid is different versus like you're in a venue like that and the music's going and you just look over and you're like, what the fuck, you know?
I also feel like this is like the part of the story that when your friend like disappears for the night and you're like, man, I wonder where the fuck Steve ended up, right? And then you like you find out.
Hey guys, I need bail money.
The next day you're reading these threads and you're like, man, that sounds a lot like what Steve was wearing before the guy got naked. And then like, oh fuck, I still haven't heard from him. Like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I had a buddy of mine, fucking love him to death, but he comes to shows and he just gets blackout drunk, and his favorite thing to do is bark. And
oh
fucking,
yeah,
dude. And
everybody.
like,
There's always, not always, but like the like blackout drunk, like the noise. Like I don't like. There was a lady next to me doing that at renewal for that late night set.
oh,
like
dude,
just,
she is notorious.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're
Okay,
talking about.
yeah, the shorter one, and then like just making the noises and shit, like clicking and oh my god, yeah,
Dude, it's insane. It is insane. But like, it's it's part of it now, right?
yeah.
Like it's not going anywhere. It's not fucking going anywhere. So yeah, that was the fun in Memphis, right? And then so in between Memphis and then they played in Fort Worth and then Austin this past weekend. But in between there, I don't know if you saw, I was talking about Daniel Bass with Donato. Did you see the drama that was happening with Billy Bass?
I know it shut down for a minute, right?
So, and this is what's fucked up. And like, obviously, like, we know that like they run a tight ship over at Billy Crew.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just like, it was vague booking 101, right? It was like, oh, the website is down. Didn't say for maintenance, didn't say for any reason, didn't say anything. It also didn't say like, oh, I don't know when it'll go back up, right? And so if you don't know, Billy Bass is basically an archive. So like Panic Stream, or what's the fish one?
If you had asked me years ago, I could have told you. It's like the fish tank or
Fish
something
Stream,
like that.
fish
Yeah, I don't...
dicks in your mouth. There's multiple different applications, right? And so what it is it's an archive of all the shows. So it gives you set lists, it gives you dates, venues. Billy Bass also gave you like the poster. It was dope. What was super cool was the guy that ran it was Nick. And Nick also posted a bunch of videos, right? So he would post videos from the shows, highlight all sorts of stuff. Fucking did an amazing job. I had known this dude. He was making fan art for a couple of years and then started building Billy Bass and then literally turned it into this thing. And so I am not trying to get anyone in trouble. I'm just going to explain it from what I understand, not heard from anyone. But from my understanding, from all the different people that I've talked to on the scene and seen around, is so Nick built up Billy Bass, which was this archive. He was given access to archives by Billy's team. He was also allowed to come to all the shows, but he wasn't like, they didn't pay for his plane ticket. They didn't like pay for him to like stay at a hotel, but he like got access. And this was like a passion project and a thing of love, right? So like he built this and he started putting it out and it really started building up. Then we were starting able to go in there. You could sign up for a username. What was dope is now instead of just having these archives, what you could do is you can set your profile. So you can sign up. You can say the first show that you went to. You can say the shows that you've couch toured, the ones that you've seen in real life. They give you a bunch of stats, which is fucking awesome. It will break it down by every album. Like, hey, here's all the percentage of songs from Home, Turmoils and Tinfoil, whatever it is. How many of those songs you've seen live based on the shows that you've put into Billy Bass? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's yeah.
And then same thing with like posters and all this stuff. And so it was super fucking dope. And like lately, have you ever done like the Goose Bingo on Billy things?
No.
Oh, dude, it's fucking dope. They're not the first ones to do it, obviously. And actually, it's funny because Goose took the idea for Goosemas in Charleston this past weekend as well. But so, like, for Billy Bingo, you have a bingo card, right?
Oh, yeah. Which songs you're gonna see? I've
Yes!
seen people do. I've never done it. Yeah.
Yeah, so what you do is you fill the board out with songs, right? And then you can either be at the show or live streaming the show or even the next day and you check them off. The first person to get bingo and post it onto the official thread or whatever, they win stuff. They win tickets, t-shirts, merch, swag from Billy
Yeah.
things from the different vendors.
That's cool.
Super cool, super fucking fun game. Goose took it a little bit further for Goosemas. They said, hey, here's the QR code. Here, put the song that you want to hear on your ball, and then they would pull balls, which is all bullshit because we know that they wrote these fucking sets beforehand. But oh, dude, they played a Help Slip Franklin, Grateful Dead, but we won't get into that. Fucking Goose. So, yes. Anyways, so Billy Things, what was dope is like, so for me at least, I would go on to Billy Things and I could look at the most recent past week's shows, last 7 shows, what's played. Oh, let me see what hasn't been played so that you can do this and figure this out. And like, that's how I used to like fill out my board. And it was funny because like, so that generic message got put up. People were like, what the fuck happened with Billy Bass? And then Nick started commenting and he's like, I don't know when this is going to come back up. Like starting to be a little dramatic, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then he said on Facebook, he's like, hey, there's an NDA. I can't talk about this. But it's like, well, first rule of NDAs is don't talk about fucking NDAs, right?
Yeah. Don't, because then people are like, what could you have possibly signed an NDA about? Yeah.
Yes. Because then they're like, well, wait, you're not even part of this team. Because like, I know like Panic Stream is third party. It's not built, it's not run by the band, right? Like it's not under band's management. Like
Yeah.
all these things. Because sometimes people think, oh, well, that's just the way that it is, right? The band controls everything. It doesn't. That's not necessarily the case, right? And so he had posted something and it started to blow up, right? And then the next morning, it was funny because the fucking man himself, Billy Strings, gets on one of these threads. He's like, what the fuck, man? I just tried to sign on to write tonight's set list
Oh, on to Billy Bass?
on to Billy Bass. And he's like, I just play guitar, right? Like, don't that was it, right? And like, of course, everybody fucking immediately starts liking it. Within an hour or two, Billy Bass is back up. Okay.
Huh.
But wait, there's more. So
See, this is more fun for you to tell me the narrative than to read about it.
so people are starting to see like, oh, well, if you just play guitar and all it took was you like knowing about it, how come you don't know or whatever? What the fuck's going on? Like, dude, all the craziness of the fans of people thinking like this is Billy's big management team just making it money hungry when we don't fucking know what the hell is going on. What I do think is interesting is it got turned back on. Then the show in Fort Worth happened on Thursday, I want to say, maybe Wednesday. And what's super dope about Billy Bass is they actually update the shows and the set lists live.
Oh.
So like you can see like as it's happening rather than like some people go to like setlist.fm. There's a super good Facebook group called Billy Strings Setlist. Somewhere on there. Troy Lahr runs it now. It used to be Mikey Mineral, and then he said some stupid shit. And
So I'll say this. I'm actually one of these people that if I hear a song I don't recognize and I go to Setlist FM, it's not there, I'm just like, well, I'm never going to know what that was, and I just move on.
Dude, it was so funny because somebody posted last night from Austin, and they're like, this is why you don't trust Setlist FM. And it was like the opening song, and it said Gild the Lily, and it was clearly not Gild the Lily, which is what they encored with. And it's like, these fucking poor kids. But I've literally seen people at shows, like with their Shazam or their Google thing out, like listening to the chords of the song, trying to like find out like what the fucking song is.
I actually remember like the first time, I ever heard the songs Like when I heard Psycho and he played it for the when I not the first time I'd heard, but the first time I'd seen him play it. I remember the lyrics struck a chord, and I was like, I have heard this song before when I was very young. You know what I mean? Like it's like, what is that? You know, the
Where did
lyrics
it
stuck.
come from?
So I just Google the lyrics that I as they sang, and then
The
that's
couple words that you can remember.
yeah. I'm like, oh shit, that's that song my dad learned on guitar or whatever. But yeah, that is. I knew. I mean, I knew Billy Bass had a lot of that information. I just never fucked with it. I didn't know about the statistics and stuff. That's really cool.
Dude, so it's super dope. And so like people were at the Fort Worth show and they're like, wait, what the fuck? Billy Bass isn't updating the set list. Billy Bass hasn't been posting videos from the shows. Billy Bass has now been missing for 3 shows.
Ooh, and now, did he actually go to all 3 shows or all
I don't
shows?
know. I don't know
Yeah.
if he's there, and I don't want to get Nick in any trouble whatsoever because he's a fucking amazing human being and he deserves everything because he's worked so fucking hard. And they'll like figure this out. But there is definitely some fucking shit happening between Billy Bass and Team Billy or whoever the fuck it is because it got pulled down, and I mean, I'm gonna say that I don't want to speculate, but we're on a fucking podcast, so let's speculate.
That's what we're here for.
So like my guess is, and this is what a lot of people on Reddit and like Facebook have been saying as well, is oh well, Billy's management team wants control of Billy Bass, and they're trying to push Nick out. And since Nick has built it all and it's his resource, he basically said, oh, you're going to push me out? Well, fuck it. Then I'm going to turn it off. And I don't know when I'll turn it back on because you're not going to give me permission to turn it on. But I'm sure as fuck not just going to give it to you. And then Billy Strings, who just plays guitar, magically gets it turned back on. And then all of a sudden, now it's fucking back off again. Everyone is fucking quiet about it. And we have nothing better to do than fucking speculate, right?
We're just asking questions, man. Pulling the Glenn Beck, just asking questions.
No, we don't. Without those are not the shoes we want to fill.
No. It's all jokes. It's all it's one of those things where like one of the things I try to remember in life, and this is not just for shit like this, but for like that guy that shot that CEO, or whenever there's some event in the news or some crazy
Luigi.
thing. Yeah, Luigi.
Also, fuck you, you thief.
Hey, listen. I forgot to tag you, bro. Cody made an amazing Photoshop of Luigi from Mario, Luigi's Mansion, onto the guy, the whatever Luigi, what's his face, that killed that CEO, and it was just really funny.
Mangione.
But my point is like when the Billy Bass thing happens, or when something like that happens, or even just like any random thing, I generally try to assume that all the shit you're hearing at first is probably grossly inaccurate or just not true. Like, because that's typically how that goes. But, like, I could see them. I would assume the Nick guy owns the website. And if they don't, I don't know.
See,
that would be weird.
Where,
like, I don't want to assume the worst. You know what I mean? Like,
one, what's funny is I had actually reached out to Nick before any of this drama had happened a couple of weeks ago. Because I'm always chasing guests, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I love Billy Bass. Like, can we talk about it? He's like, bro, I can't. And I was like,
there's got to be some legal. I would not be surprised if we find out what it is and it's something really uninteresting, some legal technicality or language in a contract somewhere that came to some try-hard lawyer that just started on the team, tried to make a big deal of, or some stupid crap like that.
But I mean, like, I understand like controlling everything, but also, and like, I love Billy Strings, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about that. But I do feel like him saying, I just play guitar is kind of a fucking cop-out, too. Because, like, bro, this is your brand. This is who you are. Like, the reason you have gotten so big is because we love how genuine and real he is, right? And, like, he has been such an integral part of his brand, and, like, every step of the... Bro, I remember when he used to do the Instagram live videos after his shows. So, like... I remember the last Austin show when he had just one mushroom, right? And then he was like so spun out. And then he went and played on his bus afterwards on Instagram for like an hour. And it was fucking amazing. And like he was part of every step of that, right? And like I think now as he's transcending and getting bigger and bigger, obviously he can't do everything and be
Yeah.
in charge of everything. But like, this is your brand, and if you wanted to fucking stop something, you could just be like, hey, let's fucking squash this and figure out whatever it is. And maybe that's happening and it takes more than a couple of days, but it's super weird for me and coincidental that like it goes out, Billy makes that comment, it comes back on. Now we're not talking about it going out because it's not down. It has the show. It's like, oh, this upcoming show. And it was talking about the Fort Worth show. And it's like, that happened 3 days ago. Why is this so far back?
I mean, man, with stuff like this, from the perspective of the man himself, I could easily just see that, like, cause it's kind of like where the AI art thing got sucked up and blown. Like, as you grow and become more popular, like shit like this just happens because there's so many moving pieces. And I could see him sitting down and just after having had a long day, having been fed up with dealing all of this other shit, just be like, I'm not dealing with this, man. I just play guitar, like I'm not. This is not mine. I just don't have the bandwidth for it. Kind of, I just gotta, not deal with it. Um, but I mean, shit like that just happens. Like in any group that gets that big, has just all kinds of bumps and different things along the way. Is because things just get so fucking crazy. I can't imagine what
But I
that's
mean,
like.
don't you think like, okay, so it's obviously a tool that he uses, right? Like he's clearly using the archive to like see what songs
Yeah,
he's played, what hasn't been, how long has it been? Because, dude, you can see, like, when's the last time this was played? How many shows has it been in between these songs, right? Like, as a musician, how fucking great is that as a resource, right? And, like, I don't want to spend somebody else's money, but I want to fucking advocate for Nick. Like, make him part of your team, give him a fucking salary. It doesn't even have to be a full-time gig. Like, hey, on these tours or these legs of these shows, like, here's what you get. Here's some co-ownership. Like, there's got to be fucking something you can do, right? And just like figure it out. What sucks is now that you're like so popular, you can't do anything behind closed doors. Like,
yeah.
this all starts to happen out in the open, and people like whisper about it, and then like whether he says something or not, like, do you remember when he told us all to go back to our shitty lives at renewal a couple of years ago?
No,
Dude, you don't remember when he was on stage and he's talking about, yeah, pretty soon you guys are gonna have to go back to your shitty lives, and then like
I
he
do
ended up,
not remember that.
oh, bro, he 1000% said that on stage, and then I think it was Monday or Tuesday he went bass fishing with Les Claypool, and we were all just back at our shitty lives, and like that's obviously not what he meant. What he was saying it more positively, like, hey, we're all here, we're celebrating it
You
now.
gotta all
You
go.
have to
You
go
gotta go back
back
to
to your
work on
shitty lives.
Monday. Yeah,
Yes, right.
you gotta go be adults and have
But
responsibilities.
like people misconstrued
Yeah,
that and like
yeah.
tried to make him bad, and the same shit is happening here with like Billy Bass, and like I think that for a lot, like, first off, I can't tell you the last time a bluegrass musician has hit the peak popularity that Billy Strings has,
It's
right?
wild. Yeah, like I don't know if it. I mean, God, I know it won. There was no, that's not even comparable because like I know for a while back in the early 2000s, like the Wagon Wheel got played a lot. You know what
For
I
sure,
mean?
but
Like
that was
that's
like one
not.
song. That
Yeah,
was
it's like
like
one
it
song.
was
It
it was
wasn't.
the it was like the free bird of
Yeah,
like bluegrass, and like that was kind of what it was, right? Because like the last time a
it still
bluegrass
would be pretty
album,
funny if they covered that.
the last time a bluegrass album was number one was like 2003 when Oh Brother Where Art Thou,
Yep.
and it was that soundtrack, right? So
Yeah.
it wasn't even a bluegrass band.
No.
It was like a movie with like a super catchy song that was like, oh, this fucking hokey shit, and like the only other thing that people remember from bluegrass is
Yeah. Yeah. For
right.
Deliverance.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? But so like true bluegrass musicians, and that's also something else that's funny is like big business or big corporate music America is going to make him turn into a rock musician, right? Like they're going to force him to get a drummer and he's going to have to start playing rock music instead of bluegrass. And to be honest, I don't give a fuck what he does as long as he continues to make music. I'm
Yeah.
fucking all about it. But like a bluegrass musician, because dude, did you see some of those fucking bangers that he played on the Nirvana night in Austin?
No.
Did you see their setup? Fucking A, where have you been?
I
Okay.
don't have nugs right now.
Oh,
We talked about this.
listen, nugs.net. We need a sponsorship for one membership, okay?
I could just pay for it. I just haven't done it.
No, we're going to be presented by Nugs. Thank you
Ah,
for
yes.
thank you for
How we are
Shay's
going to lose that
membership
sponsorship so fucking fast, Cody.
so quick. And well, at least I'll still pay for mine, 50
Yeah.
bucks a year. That's definitely worth it. Yeah, no, I live and die on fucking dude. I'm literally like putting my kids to bed. I close the door and I'm like watching Nugs on my phone as I like listen through their door and be like, "Shut the fuck up, go back to sleep."
I mean, yeah, no, I'm gonna I'm glad we had this conversation because it was literally just my credit card got hacked. Someone charged a bunch of money, so I canceled all my shit. And that's one of those ones where I haven't used it, and then I went to use it, and I was like, oh, it's expired. What happened? Oh, I'll do it later. And then that was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so the Fort Worth show was dope, but then go to I think it was the Moody Center, Austin, the first night on the 13th, not the 14th.
Yeah,
They set up with candles. It was like Nirvana Unplugged.
yeah. That's
Dude,
dope.
fucking so sick. They playing the electric bass. There was a lot of it. It was super special. They played a bunch of old bluegrass bangers, right? And so I think it's funny because we've talked about this before. Like as he's getting so popular and like bringing bluegrass into like the main stage for like other people, like oh, because like now it's become like cool, right? To like go to a Billy Strings
Hmm.
show and take your Instagram photo and like not know what's going on. Now, I would say there's even people that have seen the band 20 or 30 times that don't know bluegrass music.
Yes,
And so
yes.
like
Oh, I've talked to those people in line, like, they'll be like, hey, how many times, the comment, how many times have you seen Billy? What song are you looking for? Blah, 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 blah. And that conversation you have with everybody, and then you'll start talking about other bands, and you'll start mentioning like other bluegrass bands. And they're like, well, I really just go to Billy shows, and like this is like I know, like our Chuck, this boils his blood so hard. Like this is the thing. Like I know so many people get so mad. Like what if I told you Billy Strings was not the only bluegrass artist? Like, but I would also argue a lot of his stuff is to a certain extent is more accessible than some of the more obscure, twangy shit that I like. But
for
um,
sure, but I also feel like that's what's so cool about him like
yeah,
going to this like number one stage and then people coming to see him because he'll still like blow your socks off, but then
oh
he'll
yeah,
play like these fucking bangers. And like I've shared before, like I remember Jeff Austin playing some John Hartford shit that like totally opened a door for me musically, like that just started me to like then fall down the rabbit hole of like seeing like, okay, who are some of these bluegrass musicians? And then like I always loved like fast and hard. And so bluegrass, that is. um and for me, I found this band called the Kentucky Colonels, who just fucking flamethrowers from the 60s. And like I'm like, damn, because like in the time where it was like country or like gospel twang bluegrass,
yeah.
and then these are just fucking barn burner, like yes, like. And now it's funny because like I feel like we have transitioned in bluegrass in this genre to like that rapid grass, like
Hmm.
fast fucking phase, right? Because like shadowgrass, East Nash grass, mountain grass unit, fucking Billy, like some these kids are just fucking ripping now.
Yeah. I mean, and it'll be interesting to see how it changes over the years because and it's like a lot of the like old guys that have been seeing Fish since they've been a band or String Cheese Ints, and like one of my really good buddies will just rail against new String Cheese albums and stuff because it's like different than it used to be. And like the sound is going to change. Like if you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Like if his next four albums just sounded like Renewal, it wouldn't work. Like people,
Yeah, but dude, there's people. I mean, not
there's
to
always going to be somebody shading on the fact that things are like different than they used to be.
There's so many people that shit on this new album. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's not bluegrass. Or what is this?" Like, Stratosphere Blues,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, what is this? And like, I think that people are missing out on some of the beauty of music because, like, lyrically, that song is like so powerful and like amazing. And then like to pair it with like "I Believe in You," right?
Yeah.
Like,
I love I Believe in You. That's a good
dude,
one.
like fuck yes. Now would I ever listen to that song on its own and say that is a bluegrass song from a
No.
bluegrass musician? No.
No.
But like these people are musicians, right? And whether we've talked to like tie-dye artists or poster artists or like actual musicians, like they love that time in between, right? Where they're like trying to transcend and like build something. And like Billy has always said that he's trying to build his own scene and do it. And I think that he's doing an amazing job. And it's hard because, like, as you continue to get more and more popular, more and more bullshit is going to come
Always.
up,
One of
right?
my favorite quotes about this, I'm going to paraphrase this. Trent Reznor did an interview with, I want to say Rolling Stone or one of those magazines years ago, and I think it was when the album I think With Teeth was the one that Nine Inch Nails released. That was like they had a hiatus for a number of years, and it was their first album, and it had a bit more of a I wouldn't say poppy, but it was a more accessible vibe. You know, it wasn't like fucking downward
Softer.
spiral.
Yes, it
But
was
yeah,
softer.
and people gave him a lot of shit for like, oh, fucking, all that's he's gone soft. There's rainbows and unicorns in your music now. And his response was priceless. He basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, the same people that are bitching that want my music to sound like it did 10 years ago or 20 or 30 or whatever it was, like that don't want my music to change. If I had been making the same music for the last 30 or 40 years, they would be complaining that I never do anything different. You just can't fucking please people, and if that's your goal, you're never going to be creative. And then he's like, and I hate to break it to you guys, but like when I wrote those albums, I was alone and addicted to heroin. Now I have a beautiful family and I'm happy. Go fuck yourself. Like I say that because like Billy just had a kid, like he's married now. The sound is going to change a lot over the next couple generations of albums because that's just how that works.
Well, and that's what's so dope about like
I
side
would love, for the
projects.
record, if he started bending in more of a rock metal direction. I would be fucking here for it. But
Dude,
I
I
love
have
that
I
shit.
have always said that I want to get Dwayne Trucks and fucking pick up some side project, right? Because like all these musicians, they like love their side projects and love. I
Brent
think I
Hines
just
from Mastodon learned to play music on the banjo, and they're friends. Like, yes, give me a Mastodon Billy Strings crossover. I would have sex with that album. Let's
dude,
go.
but that's what I'm saying is like that's the shit that I want to see. Like, let's
Yeah.
get experimental. Let's see like what's different. It's like how do we continue to evolve the music? But I also think like the scene needs to evolve too, right? And it's like what the fuck is going on? And so some of these small things like Billy Bass, that's just like a small wrinkle in time, right?
Yeah.
And like going back, it's gonna be dramatically different. The posters have been pretty dope. But like let's not pretend that there isn't an opportunity to make money here, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, look at all. Look, think about, dude, the merch at renewal. Like the merch at renewal. I want to say there was 30 different clothing options,
Yeah.
probably more, right?
And I, you know
Like
me,
if
I
you
don't really
count
go for
like
the shirts. I
no,
buy
neither
like,
do
yeah,
I.
yeah,
Neither do I. Because like until you make a double XLT so that I'm not showing my belly button to everyone,
yeah.
or like draping in a fucking super ginormous sheet, I'm not gonna buy it. So I just buy posters. I'm in and out. But like, it's fucking astronomical, right? And props to them. Fucking go make your money. These guys deserve it. I say it all the fucking time. Like I will continue to support you. I buy my wife and kids merch. Like just because I don't wear it doesn't mean that I don't buy it. But like that's how these bands make money. Because realistically, like on the albums, like they have to pay this back. They have a huge contract, right? So
Yeah.
like this is a business. They have to make money. And so for the first time in a long time or maybe ever, we have a bluegrass band and a bluegrass scene that is now dealing with like big boy elite music bullshit,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Like
like, dude, like, I was talking to a buddy of mine about this the other day. Like, if Billy has a good turnout at Ball, that's a hop, skip, and a jump from the capacity of Folsom. That's gonna happen one day. We're gonna go to a Folsom Billy show, and I know people that are dreading it. I like big arena shows if you can get into the pit and you turn around and it's like, oh my god, look at all this vibe, bro. But like, that's I mean that's
Listen,
where it's at.
I've seen Dead and Co shows from the back of Folsom, right? Because
Yeah,
like we're the dirty music fans that brought our 6-week-old daughter to Dead and Company at Folsom.
yeah, yeah,
So like, um, it's different. Every part is different, and I'm like you, like doesn't matter when you're at the front, right? Like who
yeah.
gives a fuck who's behind you? But the Ball Arena shows, can we talk a little bit about that?
Let's
Like
talk
the
about the ball
whole
arena shows.
360,
Okay, so
because
it's
let's be
20
real
20,000
about
people.
the 360 thing, okay? Because like it's bullshit. What it allows them to do is sell the seats behind the stage. They now, I know that the legalities of the situation is if they sell the seats behind the stage, they have to have music because they have to test it, the sounding that projects to the back. So I know some people are like, oh, well, if I sit behind stage, then is the sound quality shitty? I will tell you that I bought tickets to all the Dead 50 shows in Chicago behind the stage. Now, I probably only listened to one song in 3 days from my actual seats in that venue, but they did have stacks pointing at you, and I'm sure that they will have speakers pointing at you for behind. Who was it that I was reading about? Um, it was one of these rock bands like Coheed and Cambria, or somebody had just recently done a 360 show at Ball Arena as well. And maybe it was Mumford and Sons, somebody. But what they did was they'd play a couple songs, they would turn around, play one song facing the back, and then turn around, play more songs facing the front. And I think overall they played like 3 or 4 facing the direction of the back. But it wasn't like, because when I think 360, I think like comedy shows. Like I saw Jim Gaffigan, his
Hmm.
stage is literally in the dead center, and then everybody's like surrounding him around him. Because I would have loved to see the Royal Rumble of rail riders for like, which side are you trying to get on, right? Like if it was
Yes,
a true
yeah.
360, like, and here comes Smiley from understage with a table. He's gonna get like, dude, like, what the fuck would have happened if they really did that? So I think it's just an opportunity to sell more tickets. Fucking good on them, bro. Like, good on
Yeah,
them.
and I've never been to a show like that before, but I've seen those too, where like if you have, and then you've got if you do have the screens and the cameras right, like if they turn your back to one side, you can watch what's going on the screen.
Oh shit.
Like imagine like a jumbotron above the stage, so that no matter what angle they're facing, they've got a camera angle on them.
Okay.
Then you can do that. It'll depend on how they pull it off. It would be shitty if they just face one direction the whole time, so you're just looking at. Well, I know some people that would love to stare at their asses the whole time, but that's not the point. Like I imagine they're gonna be moving around because he already runs all over the stage and does
Dude,
his
he's gonna
thing.
do a hair fling
Yeah,
from
he's in
one
both.
corner to
Okay,
the
and
next. Like,
it's very
yeah,
formulaic too. Like, all right, I'm gonna go over here and flip my hair at the left. Or I'm gonna do it in
yeah.
the middle. Or I'm gonna do it here to the right. All right, got to turn around and flip these guys back here. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
And they're like, all right, Billy, get to the back right. You got to get to the back right. Don't forget that. And somebody's
yeah.
in his fucking ear getting shit done, trying to figure it out. But yeah, so like those shows are coming up. That's fucking crazy. Those will be my next Billy shows. I know you're going to the New Orleans shows.
I am, yeah, and actually, this will be the first time I've ever traveled out of state to see Billy, and it's the first time I've ever been in the seats, not in the pits.
Oh,
Um,
so you don't have pit at all for any
mm-mm.
of the nights?
No, we've got. I mean, we have really good seats in like the A section, directly facing the stage toward the back, but so it'll be interesting to see that. And it's like, do I try to wander down and sneak in there? Maybe, but like I know like one of the friends but the friend we're meeting down there for the show has never seen Billy before, and this is his first Billy show, so I just want to make sure he has a good time. And then also like I honestly don't know. Like I know sure as shit Alex and my buddy Joe are not going to be down to stand in line all day for posters all 3 days, and like because we're actually going to New Orleans to do New Orleans stuff. I have assigned seats, so
Or
like
hold on. You don't even eat seafood, so what are we wasting our time for in New Orleans? Orleans.
Oh, dude, you can get some good steak and chicken in New Orleans.
Yeah,
The
I know,
different
but you
gumbo
can also get
sausage.
fucking amazing seafood, bro. And you're
Yeah.
just
Eh.
wasting it. You just, eh. I
Yeah.
just want to slap you.
That's okay.
Uh,
I know. I love it. I love how I can see it in your face how bad you want to hit me. But we'll see how it goes. Like this, I gotta get
you can eat the shit
posters.
out of some beignets.
Yeah. Fuck. That's all I'm going for. Honestly, fuck the show. I'm getting the beignets, dude. Um,
Just all
but there's
day
like
beignet.
yeah. Oh my god, I love beignets. But we'll see. This might be one of those things. Like maybe this will be one of the few times where it's like during the show I sneak off during a song and check out the merch booth because it'll be like I could still hear it in theory, and this will I've seen these guys a bunch, but I've never done that before. And then there's also the option of just foregoing the line in general. But since this is my first out-of-state show and it's a New Year's show, that puts me in the position of having to probably go to the aftermarket to get posters. Not that I couldn't find them. I mean, we know enough people. It's not, but then that's like it's not the same. I don't like it. You know what I mean?
We got you.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I got I got to. But yeah, Alex was like, I'd be down to do the line one day because it's fun with you guys. I'm like, yeah, well, for sure, I'm gonna go down there, but like Joe's not. He's like, I'm not standing in line all day, you fucker. Like I was like, yeah, it's totally fair, dude. He's like, I'm gonna go to New Orleans and then go to the show. I was like, that's totally fair.
like, oh yeah,
I'm
you're actually
excited.
gonna
Yeah.
go on vacation on your vacation. That
Yeah.
would
Oh,
make a
yeah,
little
that
too
makes
much.
sense. Yeah. So,
Would make a little too
but
much
yeah,
sense.
I'm pumped for that. That'll be a fun one. And then after that, I've got the Winter Wondergrass, and then well, I know it's that, and then Billy at Ball, and then Winter
Billy's in
Wondergrass.
January.
Yeah.
Wandergrass is February. Dead and Co. announced they are doing a March to April run again.
Fucking
So
wild. How many of those are you gonna try to go to? Because I know you had said you're like, it might take priority, bro. And by that I mean I know that's what you're doing.
yeah, well, no, it is because that's just they're gonna die, bro. They're
I
gonna
know.
die.
I 100% like.
I gotta see it as much as I only got to go over my birthday weekend, and the only reason I went then was I was like, man, I can't not go to Dead and Co. and then have something fucking happen. Like Phil looked like Skeletor, but he fucking eventually kicked the bucket, right? And
Yep.
so like this summer is gonna be like Dead 60, and it was funny because they actually came out and said that they were going to talk about doing something. I have no idea how they were going to prop Phil up and get something done. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to drag you to one, right? Like we need to finagle what's the reason for this into press passes.
Yes.
So then we can reach out to venues and be like, "Hey, we're just two media members. Could we get a couple of press passes
That'd be
to
great, dude.
enjoy the experience
let
and
me be clear.
document our time?"
I would go. Like it's not that I don't want to go. It's just not a it wasn't on my priority list. But as soon as I saw they announced it, I was like, oh, Cody's not going to Bluegrass. He's it's gonna be cold. He can do this instead. Yeah.
I can go to the desert in the wintertime, be like,
And yeah, that would be fun because especially like I wouldn't drive. I'd fly. That's a cheap fucking flight from Colorado.
Oh, there's nothing. The first thing I did was I called my mom. I was like, when can you come and watch our kids?
Yeah, nice. That's
Because
awesome.
I don't want to bring the girls, like I love them, but I don't want to bring them to Vegas again. But so,
No.
yeah, and dude,
We'll coordinate. We'll figure something out.
For sure. But can I bitch about this again? Like, why would they do all these fucking ticket releases in the most expensive month? Telluride Bluegrass Festival releases in December. They did fucking Dead and Company. They did the Goose did their Mexico trip. Like, everybody has these fucking things, and it's like, bro, this is hard on my wallet.
Yeah.
Like, hard on my wallet. And then you try to figure out, like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to this. And then when you go to that, then they release all the next shows. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to buy all those tickets now.
That's because they do it that way because we buy them when they do it that way.
I know. It's fucking nasty and terrible and horrible. And I love it. And I just want to do more. And I'm fucking stoked.
I really want to try to do Tico Time this year.
Tico Times is fucking dope.
It is. It looks rad as fuck. The lineup is
but
rad
I think
as
that's
fuck.
Memorial Day, bro. I think that's...
I don't think so. I
is
think
it
it's the weekend
Labor
before. I don't know. I haven't looked. But I mean, again, it's like I'm trying to save up some money. Like it's
No,
not
I'm pretty
cheap.
sure it's in May because
Yeah.
one of the years it was over Billy weekend.
Yes,
And-
it was.
And I was like, yeah, well, that's not...
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm willing to skip that Tico Time. It is. This is good TV. This is good radio, folks. It is. It is in May, but I'm not necessarily sure. I want to say it's like. I was like
The next one I want to do,
yeah.
and I don't want to keep promoting Scotty because he hasn't been on the show yet. But I want to do one of the river wonder grasses.
Oh, that would be. Are those the ones where you ride down the river with them?
Dude, you whitewater
Yeah,
raft.
I would fucking. I've done a
Dude,
bunch of whitewater.
and
I'd
then
love
you
that
fucking
shit.
hillbilly camp on the river and fucking listen to them shred.
I would
Like,
love that.
are you kidding me? Yes, fucking
That has
please.
got to be expensive, and there can't be very many tickets for those.
No, not at all. But still, like, that would be one. Like, when my kids get old enough to not bring them. Like,
Yes.
oh, okay. Yeah, because you're like, oh, yeah, hey, do you want to go this? I'm like, fucking Shay, it's me times four, right? So, like, there's four of us. So
I
I
forget
can't,
you always got to bring the kids too. So
but not the indoor shows. Like, I
no.
always ditch them. Although
Yeah.
I am very strongly considering bringing just Logan, my daughter who just turned 8 over the weekend, to one of the shows at Ball Arena because she was the one that was super sad
Yeah.
at renewal that he wasn't there. I just hate bringing her to indoor shows. Maybe the protector of children can help me. But fucking, I think that she would be so stoked if she could go see Billy. She's only 8, and I really, those indoor shows are hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
But
a lot louder. There's not as many places to get away if you need to.
for sure. And like for me, like in an arena show like that, because like, okay, let's go sit down and be like so far away. Is that going to be something enjoyable for you? Like, what is this? And then like the scene in an indoor show, like when people are smoking and doing whatever they want, when it's outside, like at least I can like walk away or the wind swirls and like it's gone. Like when you're in, it's just like,
It hovers. Yeah. It's different. And yeah, it's I because I do hope that we at least get one more renewal in the old spot. But
I don't think it's happening.
yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen as a renewal
it'll just
event.
be a festival. Yeah.
I think it will be a bluegrass festival. Okay, because now you're gonna make me be a dickhead. So like obviously the refund thing, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, Billy's such a great guy. He gave us a refund." Blah 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 blah. I was talking to some other people, and from my understanding, is Colorado is one of the very few states that has this law that talks about the billing of events. And if an event doesn't go on as it is billed, then you have the ability to challenge and get a refund for the price of admission. So, do you remember when people were doing credit card chargebacks?
Yeah.
So that was because Colorado has a law that said, hey, this is Billy String's renewal. Billy Strings wasn't there. They were doing a chargeback to get their refund. What happens in the way that this Colorado law is written, from my understanding, not giving legal or tax advice, uh, but what happens is the vendor is then forced to not only give the refund, but now they also have to pay a fee. So, so they pay, let's just say it's $300 because they weren't returning the camping because that was used. And that was another thing that people like got confused about. Was they only refunded the ticket price, not the camping, because the camping was used. So $300 for the tickets, that goes back. Well, now they're also charging Bonfire or whoever $25 per ticket in a fee for that chargeback. So now instead of just giving $300, they have to give $325. The 25 doesn't go to the person,
Yeah.
it goes to someone else or whatever regulatory agency, something happens. So people are like, "Oh, Billy is such a good guy," which I'm sure he is. And I agree that the refund is great, but from what I was hearing is there are people that were saying that that was actually a preemptive strike by their team, because had it gotten to the point where everyone realized that with that Colorado law they could have continued to request chargebacks, then they would have had to pay all that money back plus that extra percentage in those fees.
I've we've talked about this before, and I've heard that before. I've also, but then there's like there were some there was, and again, this is just scuttlebutt on social media and Reddit and stuff, so take it for what it was. But I had also read that the law doesn't work the way people think it does, and they that they wouldn't necessarily have to have given a refund. Like it's not an automatic thing. Like it's if you file a charge, like everybody starts filing chargebacks, they can counter that and say no. While Billy wasn't there, we provided this whatever service, the entertainment, all that. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional misleading of
Yeah.
the thing.
It was a force de majeure, right?
I would really like to know somebody who understands that law to answer this question, because I've heard both sides. I've heard also they didn't have to do it, that they could have just kept the money and said tough shit.
I've talked to friends' wives who have their judiciary degree or whatever, their legal degree, but I don't fucking know, because I don't know if they actually practice it or if that's like the thing. And that's the thing is like, and this is what I'm saying is like with Billy and his popularity and all this shit, like there's going to be whispers. There's going to be idiots like us talking about this shit and like saying, oh, did you hear about this? Like, did you know that this could happen or this is something else? And it's like, oh, fuck, man. Like, what are we doing here? So what we need to be doing is getting back to guests. So we will continue to chug ahead. The holiday seasons are a difficult one. I'm going to force Shay to do live updates from New Orleans for me. And then we will figure out some way to do a show. If I trusted you with the lavalier mics, I would send you with the lavalier mics so that we could go do like a New Orleans tour. Like, here's Shay eating a beignet. Here's Shay eating another beignet. Here's Shay drinking from a beignet. Like,
we could discuss that. That's the
Dude,
those are the little Bluetooth guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just the little nuances. We can get stuff done. Except you have a shitty Samsung Android phone. So
I have a wonderful Pixel 9 Pro that is delightful.
Oh, you got an upgrade?
Sir.
No more
Yeah.
Shadowfest?
This thing's wonderful.
Ooh, look at you fancy broad. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
remember? Because we were in a show, and it's supposed to have this fancy picture, and I was playing with the settings trying to take a picture, and you were all, oh, you got a new phone? You're a picture guy now? You going to record the concert? I was fuck you, Cody. Yeah.
That sounds exactly like me, and that's wonderful. But yeah, buddy, I'm glad that we're back. I hope everybody had a great holidays. We will be back next week, and then I think what is that? That makes it the 22nd. It's right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably shoot something for after New Year's to get shit done. We have a bunch of stuff lined up. I've literally been paying for guests. I'm kidding. But we do have a bunch of awesome guests. I don't know if we'll get some of them on before the end of the year. I do know going into the new year, we have a ton. We love all the support. We love all you guys. I can't thank you enough. We'll see you next week.
You guys have a good one.
And we're out. How do I stop?